I need to feel your energy today from start to finish.
Come on, let's go.
Let's crank this thing up. It get real ferocious, I'm trying to tell you.
Turn me up all day.
From the locker room to the broadcast booth, breaking news and the truth behind every take from a real NFL insider and television analyst.
Now get ready for the NFL show where the conversation gets real and the fans get a voice. It's time for the Lake Lewis Jr. Show here on ESPN Radio.
And that's football.
Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show right here on ESPN Radio. And as I always say, welcome and thank you for following us as always. We've got a good show. And, I missed you guys because I was away, for a couple of days. Just got back from beautiful Aruba. And my babe and me went there, to support someone for their 50th birthday. And, yeah, you're going to be approaching that real soon, Alan, if I'm not mistaken.
No, not anytime soon.
I thought you were up on the deck, getting ready to take that swing.
I just got to 40. We talking 50?
So, yeah, I've passed 50 already. So,
I know time flies, but nah, man.
Yeah. So, no, we had fun, and just getting back and getting in the fold of things. I will say, the plane didn't get back until almost 1:30 in the morning, so that was something. We had a super long delay. So I'm here, folks. I'm here. I'm on fumes, but I'm here. And we've got a lot of stuff that we are going to dissect and cover over the next hour. As always, if you want to call in on the show, it's very simple. All you've got to do is call in at 804-327-0888. And we will get you on live air with myself. Remember, this is your NFL Insider Show every Tuesday, every Thursday from 3 to 4. And then also, we're going to have an announcement coming up next Tuesday that you're going to love. You're going to absolutely love it. I can tell you what it is right now, but I want him to tell you this, on next Tuesday. So make sure you check us out. Same time, same place next Tuesday. You know what I'm going to do today, Alan? That I think you might really be excited about?
What?
I'm going to talk about a team that's getting a lot of love around the NFL. And you might be surprised about who I'm going to say is getting love and why they're getting love. Some people might be thinking that they're being disrespected. And we're talking about none other than the Washington Commanders. And the reason why I say that is because the Washington Commanders were given a gauntlet of a schedule for 2026. I'm not going to complain about the schedule. I'm not going to say it's too tough. I'm not going to say it's too hard. When I did my breakdown from Aruba on the schedule, the schedule reveal night, I went on with my good friend Natalie Spalla from ABC up in DC. I go on with her up there. And, she asked the question too, was this schedule too tough? And I said, it's the NFL. Every game you can lose if you don't show up and ready to play on Sundays or Saturdays or Thursdays or Fridays nowadays or Wednesdays in the NFL. They're getting ready to go year round every day. Did you think that schedule was too tough?
I think the schedule is tough. I would never call a schedule too tough.
Right.
Especially when we're talking about preseason projections, basically, right? Like anything can happen. Nobody thought last year, looking at the Patriots schedule, probably that it would be the easiest schedule ever. Mm-hmm. But that's what it ended up being, right? And they had a lot of favorable matchups, even getting into the playoffs. The Knicks got hurt, and they end up getting to play Jarrett Stidham. You can't predict any of this stuff so early. So I know on paper it looks like it's tough, but the Commanders are in a position that if you want to be contenders, if you think you're a contender, you need to be forged through fire. I'd rather you play tough guys and tough teams in the season than wait to the playoffs and that's your first tough matchup.
Well, I'll tell you what, August, 2 days in August, I think the 12th and the 26th. And, when you think about what they're going to have to go up against, this year to start the season at Philadelphia, then they go to Dallas, and then they have the Super Bowl champion Seahawks week 3 coming in. And then we all go over across the pond. You know what that means, right?
Of course.
Okay. I just want to make sure you'll be going, so when we go over across the pond,
Blake, I am also a a football fan, so an EPL, English Premier Soccer League fan. So
Okay,
I know all
so
about
you-
across
so-
the pond.
So you already know, right?
In
So-
fact, I know a lot about Tottenham, actually.
yeah, great stadium, great venue, really looking forward to that. And it's early, it'll probably be raining over there in London. That's what it does all the time.
Literally.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I had a great time in Spain last year. But I say all this because when you look at these first 4 games for the Commanders, to me, that's going to tell you everything you need to know. You don't have to wait till later in the year for this team to pick up some momentum or anything like that. We're going to know about the Washington Commanders and where they fare, where they stand early, because when you think of all these things, think about it, seriously. When you get the Eagles, the Cowboys, NFC East matchups against the 2 teams that have pretty much dominated the NFC East over the last decade or so, I still say the Giants and Washington are getting ready to flip this thing over in a year or two. But I think that Washington has a chance to signal that they're a legit football team early. And then, of course, the Seahawks week 3, that's going to be a favorable matchup for Washington. Do you know why the week 3 matchup against the Seahawks might be favorable, Alan?
Because Seattle has a tough game before that or after that? I don't know why.
No, it's because Seattle's coming east and it's a 1:00 football game.
Yeah.
And that always favors, the East Coast teams. That's just the way it is. And when Washington plays the Rams, what is it, week 9, they're going to have the Rams come to town, and that's going to be a 1:00 game too. So obviously those 2 teams are 2 legit Super Bowl teams in the Rams and Seattle, but those are things that favor Washington. And that kind of leads me to what I was getting ready to say earlier.
That's a stinky schedule for Seattle. There, Arizona, Washington, and back to Seattle.
And back to Seattle. So think of this, though. I said that there's a team that the NFL loves, and I said it's the Commanders. And someone may say, oh, Lake, you're crazy, which I get all the time. Well, let me say this. The reason why the NFL is showing you that they still are in love with the Washington Commanders, as far as, the new regime with Josh Harris, Adam Peters, and, Dan Quinn, of course, is because of Jaden Daniels as well. Because they gave them this kind of schedule. Now, if they had a super easy schedule, there would be no primetime matchups. There would be no games of interest. So to start the season at Philadelphia, to start the season at Dallas, in week 2, to have the Super Bowl champions come into your building week 3, and then to send you over to an international game in London. We're not going to Brazil. No offense to Brazil, but we're talking London here, Big Ben, the whole crew, Tottenham Stadium. That tells you everything that you need to know. And then, oh, by the way, to get a Monday Night Football game against who? The San Francisco 49ers. Do you think that they didn't make these games with the intention of knowing that Washington has an opportunity here to be a good football team?
So their first 6 games, again, on paper, are projected to be tough. Would you rather, and this is a question I'd ask Jack as well, would you rather play those tough games like those contenders like the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Niners, even the young Giants, right? Would you rather play those teams early in the season or later in the season?
Early. I mean, all day, because you're getting them when they're still trying to iron out some kinks. The
That's
Eagles,
what I was thinking too.
Yeah, the Eagles have Sean Mannion, a new offensive coordinator. Yet again, another new offensive coordinator.
And you're his
for
first
Jalen
game.
Hurts. Exactly. And you're his first game. But guess what? Washington has 2 new coordinators. You have David Blah, your offensive coordinator, and you have Durante Jones, the defensive coordinator. So no one's seen what they're going to do. Yeah, you're going to have some joint practices, and I'm looking forward to those. But that's the other thing. If you're Washington and you see that they're giving you Monday night games, they're giving you a Sunday night game. I mean, let's be honest here. They have a Thursday night game against the Giants, So that tells you that the league still values the Washington Commanders. They still feel like the 2024 season and run that they had to the NFC Championship game, where they got obliterated by the Eagles. They did, but they still exceeded all expectations. Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year that year. And then last year, they never had a season. And I'm not making excuses. I'm there every day. I say what I know. The Terry McLaurin holdout, the injuries, it just never started. They never had a season. So if the league thought that this team was bad, do you think they would be giving them these type of football games and these type of times of the football games?
Not at all.
Of course. So if you're a Commanders fan, you should feel pretty good about having this gauntlet of a schedule because the league believes that you do have the potential to be a contending team. I know a lot of people outside the market, I've had so many, emails and DMs, and I still leave them up. You go to my YouTube channel at Lake Lewis Jr., shameful plug. I'll say this. There are people that have gone there and they're like, man, you guys are delusional. You're crazy if you think this team's going to be any good. Call me delusional, but you guys called me delusional 2 years ago when I said this team was going to win 12 games, and they won. They won 12 games. Right now, though, I think this team's a 10-win, 11 at best football team. Before anything has started, obviously they have to gel, and if they can gel and do things quickly, they could have a better record. But I just think right now, if you gave me a truth serum and said, where's this team ballpark-wise, it's 10, 11 wins.
It's crazy. I do believe that Matt and I did a draft, or not draft, a schedule thing after the schedule was released. And I think he's on the 10-win side or 10, 11-win side. I think I was a little cautious to jump at 11, but I'm pretty sure I was around the 10 wins. I think, there's a couple angles that favor the Commanders throughout the season. Obviously, you want them to stay healthy, but I think that there's a little bit of disrespect to them too. Like when this team is healthy, they're competitive, and they are like 10 wins is a playoff team is basically.
Oh no, if they win 10 wins, they're a wild card team for sure.
It's like a top 8 record.
Yeah,
they're a top 8 team.
I totally agree.
I just think it's a little crazy that you look at this schedule and you get. Your toughest games, honestly, are in the very beginning, which is good because even if you stumble out the gate, you get a reprieve and they get a bye week that's not in week 16. The last 2 years, their bye weeks have been so late. They've been so beat up going into the final run of the December schedule. So I actually like the schedule for them. I do.
And we can talk about this. We will take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the second half of the schedule, like you just said, we'll give you the teams and give you outcomes. I'll just call them out and see what Alan thinks, win, loss, draw, whatever. But I'm telling you, if you look at this schedule for Washington, if they do something that you're going to have to stick around to find out what I'm going to say, if they can do this team's going to be a dangerous football team. So hang tight. You're listening to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. The Lake Lewis Jr. Show right here on ESPN Radio. If you're in the Richmond area, that's 106.1 FM. Appreciate you joining us. And also, if you're listening on HD Radio, which is 103.6 FM, 103.7 FM. There we go. One more time. 103.7 FM. Appreciate that. All right. So I had mentioned to you that if Washington can do this, they're going to have an outstanding season. And I'm really excited about the possibility of them doing that. And I think what that is when you look at their schedule, you look at the tough part of this, and it's the first, 8-9 games, and obviously you have the Eagles twice. That's a stark contrast from last year. Remember, Alan, where they played the Eagles 2 out of their last 3 games of the season. And clearly going into the 2025 season, the league thought that Washington and Philly were going to be playing for something like they did in 2024 when they played in the NFC Championship game. Well, you get the Eagles twice within your first 9-10 games of the season. You get the Seahawks, you get the Cowboys, you get the 49ers, you get the Rams, even the Colts. Daniel Jones is giving them some hope again. We'll see how that works out. But they have that set up early. But when you look at the back end of this schedule and you have teams like the Jaguars, where you have to travel to Jacksonville. That's the second to last game of the season. That's a winnable football game still. I think Jacksonville is going to be a good football
Depending
team.
on who you talk to.
Yeah, listen, Jacksonville was a good football team last year, but it's easier to get there. It's harder to stay there. Just ask Washington how last year worked out.
last turn of the season, 4 divisional games out of their last 5 games is always brutal for anybody.
Yes.
Anybody.
Yes. And if you're Washington, you don't have after week 10, okay? You only have 1 more divisional game. And that's the final game against the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Which means you gotta get them early.
You got to get them early. So that's why I'm saying if Washington can somehow navigate the first, I'm going to go all the way up until, I'm going to go up to week 9. Okay. If they can get to week 9, and then you have the Giants for week 10, the Thursday night football game. Okay. So let's just go up to week 10. That's 11-12, which is November 12th. If Washington can be 5-5 for the first half of the season, would you feel like they've had a successful run?
5-5 for the first half of the season.
When you look at the teams on this schedule, the Eagles twice, the Giants
counting it down
twice. Yeah.
No, that's not bad. I would actually be slightly disappointed, just because I don't want to see them anywhere near 500 after the first 4 games. I want to see them stay above 500. So 5-5 would still be fine though. I actually have them beating the Bengals. I have them beating the Giants. I actually have them beating the Rams as well.
Okay. But see, the Bengals though, that's week 11.
That's week 11. Yeah, I was 1 week ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So no. But that's the second part of what I was going to say here. Look at week 11 up to week 18. Week 11, the Bengals, winnable game? Yes. The next game, week 12, the Cardinals, winnable game?
Yes. Although, don't you guys have a history when you travel out west and play Arizona? Don't they give you a tough game?
They give us a tough game, but they lose.
Yeah.
Remember Chase Young picked up the fumble?
Yeah, it's really strange.
And then just a couple of years ago, Jaden hit Terry in the back of the end zone. They won that one. So I think they have a 2-3 game winning streak over the Cardinals. And then they go to Pittsburgh,
Tennessee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Winnable?
Yeah. I don't think at that point in the season, I think it's a winnable game.
Okay. Houston coming to town this time.
No.
See why you got to do that. You just cut that off real quick.
Being honest, no. No.
But what if they get some shaky quarterback, right?
Yeah, you could turn CJ Stroud over, but Jaden just survived that game.
But that's Jaden's boy, so that's one of his childhood friends.
That's
so
cool, and I'm sure he's probably cool with Stingray
right?
too. But just Will Anderson's not your friend.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. And then the Falcons at home.
Yeah, I think they got
that. That's a winnable game, of course. They travel to Minnesota, and remember what happened last year. I was there for that victimization, if you can call it that. I mean, it was bad. They got beat 31-0. That's
going to be a really good game.
It was going to be great,
as long as everybody stays healthy.
Durante returns.
Yeah,
so that was a crime scene last year. I was there, so hopefully they fare better. But I have them beat Minnesota.
I have that being a game that I will definitely circle on my calendar to watch. I'm not going to say they beat Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to hit the ground running pretty well.
With Kyler Murray.
Yeah. The reports sound very optimistic. And
O'Connell's a great coach.
Yeah, O'Connell's a great coach, man.
Yeah, that's my guy right there. Yeah, I'm still a little salty with Ron Rivera back in the day. Didn't interview Kevin, and Kevin wanted that OC job in Washington. The rest is history. But yeah, so then you move forward to January 2nd, the Jaguars, or as some people say, and I hate it, the Jaguars. It's the Jaguars, and that's a winnable football game. I'm sorry, I know the Jaguars, did well, but
it's a good neutral site game.
No, it's in
London,
Jacksonville.
That's London's team.
Yeah, but they're not playing them there though.
I know they're playing them in Jacksonville, so it's a neutral site game.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. That kind of went over my head for a second, but yeah. Okay.
I'm messing with the Jag fans.
I follow you. Yeah. Don't get mad at me. Alan said that Jaguar fans.
Jack's high on Jacksonville. I'm high on the Colts because I'm just committed to the Indiana Jones bit. But Jacksonville, I think a lot of people are expecting them to be in a position where they're very consistent this year.
Do you have Jacksonville winning that division?
No, I don't have Jacksonville.
The Texans, right?
I don't have Jacksonville beating the Texans. Now,
that's what I'm saying. So
to turnovers, man, I don't know. That's just in Sunshine's DNA.
That's what I'm saying, man. So again, I think they're going to be a playoff caliber team, but I think the Commanders are going to be a playoff caliber team. So that's how you know that the league loves this football team without question, because they gave them this tough schedule. And that's how Washington can navigate this thing. If they can navigate it I'm going to even go further. I'm saying this. You're saying after the first 4 games that Washington should not be playing 500 football. See, I kind of am going to probably disagree with you, because I'm thinking if they can make it through these first 4 games at 4-4, I'm sorry, at 2-2, they've survived the gauntlet, because that means you've beaten, either the Eagles or the Cowboys, Seattle or the Colts. Those are all good football teams. I mean, 2 of them are great football teams. One of them is a capable team, and the other one is a team that you have a mystery about, but they were looking really good before their quarterback got hurt last year, and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, the Colts are, and they also play a style that, depending on how that game against Seattle goes,
right?
The Commanders might not be ready for 2 back-to-back physical games so early in the season.
Yeah,
that's
2 teams that want to run the football.
That's something that
No Kenneth Walker in Seattle, though.
Yeah, but
I know they
still got another
guys.
tank.
Yeah, they got some guys.
I was gonna say, our buddy, the running back, the other running back from Notre Dame. He's
Price.
He's not a little guy.
No, listen.
He's a tank.
There are people that I know that when we were in Pittsburgh,
I'm gonna respectfully disagree.
I mean, it was lunacy because you already know, because I had some people saying he might be the better overall back.
I heard that too, but I respectfully disagree.
Oh, I know my guy Lou Riddick said the same thing recently as well. I mean,
you also like
these
Will
folks
Levis.
I work with. I mean, come on, man. So, but you said they like what?
I said he also liked Will Levis too. So
yeah, I mean, I did when he was at Penn State. He almost got through a show, but so you know what, you're still on the hook, not on the hook, because I don't claim Will Levis as a Penn Stater because he transferred on us. He bailed on us.
You should.
Okay, so whatever happens to him and his mayonnaise, that's his fault. So, overall, what do you guys think out there? Do you think that Washington has a legit chance to be able to navigate this brutal 2026 schedule and make a playoff run to make the playoffs? I'm not saying you got to win the division, although I will say this year, Alan, I think to win the NFC East this year, because these teams are going to be so good battling each other, I think 12 guarantees you win the division. Does that sound about right to you?
Oh, yeah, man. 12 will win the division.
Maybe 11?
I
think 12. I think 12.
To be on the safe side, I think you need to be 12.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if anybody's got that level of talent between them. Like I'm expecting a competitive division. So 12 would definitely be the team, obviously, who is the best team in the division, basically. Like if you get to 12 wins in the NFC East, undisputed. It's not going to look like that crazy year where in the NFC North you had like 15 by the Lions, and I think like the Vikings had like 12 wins and they were like the lowest of the wild cards or something crazy like that. I don't think it'll look like that, but I think it's going to be a bloodbath. Honestly, it's going to be some good football between the 4 teams.
Well, folks, right now you're listening to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show, brought to you by Life Be Lifing. You got to check those guys out. They have some great great clothing and good brand, really good brand. I'm going to get you one of those. What'd you say? XX?
Yeah, XX.
A XX. All right, we got to get you that. And then also the Cabell Childress Group, personal attention. They do great jobs getting you the house of your dreams, whether you're selling a house as well. They're the place for that. You need a house, Alan?
Yeah, I always need a house.
And then, of course, Nikki's Homemade Salsa. They were actually here with me in studio last week. And something's really good when you miss it. Here it is. I was in Aruba, and I'm not making this stuff up, folks. I'm telling you the honest to God's truth there. And Janine will back me up on this. But I was looking for salsa over there, and it just wasn't the same, so got back here, and you know what I had today? I actually made some eggs with some chicken sausage in there, mixed it up, and covered it with some of the salsa.
I still got half a jar in the fridge.
Yeah, but my mouth was burning, though. I'm not going to lie. I think I got the hot brand on that one, and my mouth was ringing.
Oh, man, it definitely runs spicy, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. So, look, folks, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, lots more here. NFL chatter on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. And we came back in with some mass appeal. What you know about that?
I know a little bit about it, just a little bit.
Gangstar was one of my favorites.
Don't get talked about enough.
Definitely not. But that was more conscious rap. People unfortunately didn't want us to be able to have that. I'll say
we
that.
still go through that from time to time.
Of course. That was good music, though. Really good music, though. Yeah. Words Are Manifest. That was one of his songs and all that good stuff. So we're talking about the Washington Commanders. Wow, what a surprise, right? So no, that's what we're going to be doing a lot on this show. And like I said, next Tuesday, right here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show, there will be a major announcement that I am excited about. I think you guys should be excited about if you watch and listen to this show. And remember, you can always watch this on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel at Lake Lewis Jr., and it's Lake Lewis Jr. for everything. It's Lake Lewis Jr. on all social media, on X, on IG. I'm a more active person on IG than I am on X, so I will say that. Same thing on Facebook, the same thing. And some people said Facebook. I know Alan is, from the younger crew. They don't use Facebook, folks. They, that's for the old heads like me, where we can see our classmates from high school. And hell, I've had some people from grade school pop up on my Facebook. So that's what we're doing there. So he did say that I had, someone that reached out that, I think he's on the line now. So he's got some calls coming in right now that we're going to get ready to get to and, see what we have going on here. But the Washington Commanders, we were talking about that schedule that, and I'm doing the quote signs here. If you're watching this, you can see it, the quote signs, because everyone's complaining about how tough that schedule is. And we're saying the same thing, that it can't be that tough. If the league feels like this team's a really good football team because they think they're capable of winning some games. So let's go ahead and bring in my good friend, Bruce. What's going on, Bruce? Appreciate you calling.
What's up, Blake? Everything going good?
Everything's going really good, my friend. I'm hanging in there, man. Just got back from Aruba at in the wee hours of the morning. So I'm okay. I made it.
That's all. You ain't see nothing but deep blue in Aruba, bro. Deep blue.
It was blue, and I had to do a segment on ABC yesterday, and I did it literally right from the beach. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Hey, Blake, look.
Yes.
So this is a Commander show, man, and this you and Alan bring it, man, every day.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm NFL media, but at the end of the day, the Commanders, the team I've covered. This will be my 17th year, and so I just felt like, this is what I know. I'm in that locker room every day, so I wanted to be able to bring that to folks, and like yourself. So I appreciate all that love and support, man.
Let me drop another team, Blake.
Yeah,
go
ahead.
Working on the Woodrow Wilson Bridge project back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to keep on driving down 95. You can cut over 295 if you want.
Okay.
But I want you to go to Martin Luther King Boulevard and get off right there at that exit off of 495.
Yes, sir.
And talk about the Ravens for me.
Yes. Listen, I got to tell you, I said last year that the Super Bowl was going to be, and I was wrong. I'll man up, but I said last year the Super Bowl was going to be a battle of the Beltway. I said it was going to be Baltimore versus Washington, and it didn't happen. And I wanted to see Lamar get one. I want to see Jaden get an opportunity as well. But I'm telling you, Baltimore is one of those teams that right now is under the radar, and people better not disrespect them, because I do think that Jesse Mentor is going to come in there, give them that defensive presence that they've been lacking over the past couple of years, where all the pressure's been on Lamar to bail them out. Well, now I think they're going to have some defensive play that's going to be worthy of Lamar not having to have an S on his chest for every game. And similar to Jaden Daniels in Washington, I think both defenses are going to be mightily improved. And I think Baltimore is one of those teams in the AFC the teams better be leery of, because Lamar, to me, is my favorite player in the NFL. I've said that on record, and I just think that the guy doesn't get the due that he's deserving of. So beware of the Ravens this year.
I double down with what your final comment was. I'm a Steelers fan, man, but let's be clear. My favorite player in the NFL is Lamar Jackson.
Nice. And for you to say that as a Steelers fan, that says something right there.
Yeah, that's how I just say as a Steelers fan, man. But this guy is just special, man. And so not to the Wemby level, but he is special. Lamar is special, man. And I just I enjoy watching him play, man.
Well, it's kind of, since you're a Steelers fan, I can say this too. It's kind of, Baltimore and Pittsburgh have been microcosms. I mean, they literally have been one team almost as far as how they've gone about their business. And a lot of that was to compete against each other. When they had these great defenses, they didn't need, offenses that were lighting it up. They just needed offenses that weren't going to turn the football over, that were going to capitalize on what the defenses gave them. Where over the past couple of years, where the defenses for both Pittsburgh and Baltimore haven't really been where they've normally been, now you're starting to see some of the deficiencies on the offensive side of the ball. And in Lamar's defense, I've said this, Baltimore historically, they have not given him a lot of weapons. I know Mark Andrews is a Pro Bowl tight end and Zay Flowers is a smaller Pro Bowl wide receiver, but he hasn't had that bell cow wide receiver. And that's the same thing that was going on in Pittsburgh as well. But now I can say this, just being up in Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago for the draft, I did an event with Michael Pittman. And I got to tell you, man, Michael Pittman, that size to go with DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers is back. That could be a good thing for your team this year.
We're fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And I get to get something for the offensive line. I get to do that. I wish Pittsburgh would look more in their backfield as well.
Yeah.
Not only because of Aaron Rodgers' age, but you need something a little bit more explosive. You need a good pass blocking running back. We talked about that with Jeremiah.
Yeah.
And so you need a combo. And I don't know if that's out there in free agency.
Well, they did pick up Rico Dowdell. So
yeah.
I mean, so that's a good look for the Panthers. Yeah. I mean, he's a good back. He's, I wouldn't say he's top 5 in the league, but he has an legit argument to stake a claim for that next tier, to maybe be like 6 through 11, something like that. And that's all the Steelers need. If they can get that kind of production from him, I think it will open up the offense even more.
And Blake, I'll leave you on this.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about our big man that came over from Seattle. Has he lost a step?
I'm gonna say something that might surprise a lot of people here when I answer this question that you just asked me. I don't know if he ever had the step, and I'm saying that with all due respect. I think the fact that DK Metcalf is a physical specimen, I think people started to overlook some of the deficiencies that he had as far as the route running and things of that nature. And sometimes that just being physical and being bigger than everyone isn't going to always get it done for you, especially when you're playing in the elements like in Pittsburgh. I mean, it's cold. You might be playing in the snow. That neutralizes a lot of stuff. So now you got to be a little bit more crafty in your route running, your route tree, and your hands have to be more solid. And we've seen him have the drops as well. So I just think that maybe there was a little bit of an inflation with this guy. I think he's a really good wide receiver, but he's not an elite wide receiver, if you ask me personally. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he dropped, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe what I just said there made him upset.
No, that's accurate. Vertical guy, big guy, similar to AJ Brown. Like, he's a big play guy, and they don't have a big play arm. Like,
they don't.
You put him with a quarterback that will make the throws
the ball out there
for big plays.
But do you think DK's elite though?
I wouldn't call him elite. I call him good.
Yeah, he's good. That's what I said. He's a very good NFL receiver. But I do think he's been inflated just a tad bit. Elite
for me has to be more than just vertical.
You got to put it all together. I mean, when you look at his size and you think of some of the guys like my boy, T.O. That's my guy, so
T.O. is elite.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's elite.
Yeah.
AJ Brown and DK. What's crazy about AJ Brown and DK? Why you keep talking about how they're similar as whatever?
They're teammates.
They were teammates at Ole Miss.
They're like brothers, basically.
Yeah. You know who else was there?
Crash Out Brothers.
You know who else was there too?
Was it Elijah Moore?
Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
A good call.
Yeah. But I remember that team.
But I'll stump you on this one though. I stump everybody with this one. Who the heck was throwing them the football?
I really can't go back
the one
that
that
far.
Gets everyone.
Oh, man. I really can't go back that far on the quarterback, but
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But again, yes. So those guys are very similar. I just got a just had a pop up in my metas here. I'm plugging Meta, giving them the nice love there. But just got from Lane Casadante, said, well, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but he was saying he wasn't good enough like that. So he kind of agrees with my assessment of him. Yeah.
Anytime elite wide receivers don't get moved off of in their primes.
No, and that's you read my mind. I was just getting ready to say, if you are an elite receiver, teams will get rid of their quarterback before they get rid of an elite receiver.
You stay.
And he also got ran off by basically at that time a rookie when they started to see JSN doing his thing.
I saw JSN in practice.
Yeah, they were like, wait a minute, you're not supposed. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Terry McLaurin right here in Richmond years ago when we used to come down here for training camp. And I remember tweeting out, I tell this story all the time. I remember tweeting out after the first day, I don't know who 17 is. And I knew who it was, but I was just making a point. 17 out here can't be covered. D'Angelo Hall, all of these guys, he was losing all of them. And he looked like the best receiver out there. And you saw what's going on now. Yeah, that's why he's their face. So, yeah. All right. So, I love when fans call in and talk about their other teams. And I do want people to know, although you can call in and talk, obviously, Commanders, you can talk about everything because I have to cover everyone. And we do this unbiased. So don't feel afraid if you are a fan of another team. And I do know since I've been down here in Richmond, I'm starting to realize that everyone's down here. Yeah, everyone's down here. It's a very transient place now. I mean, look at us. I'm not from here. And, although, outside of being in the station, I work back up that way, at the park, at Commanders Park and the games and all that stuff. I got to say, I've met a lot of Steelers fans down here. I've met a lot of Panthers fans down here. I've met a couple Falcons fans down here. Obviously, a lot of Commanders fans. And obviously, there's a lot of Cowboy fans here, too.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot of Cowboy fans because there's a lot of Commanders fans. And then sprinkled in Giants and Eagles. I would go out on a limb and say the Steelers are probably the second most popular team in this area.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
They'll fight you, too. Pretty aggressive.
Only if you're talking about them losing,
it's
which
funny.
They've been doing a lot of.
We harp on Eagles fans all the time, but I don't know, man. I've seen some aggressive Steeler fans.
You know what? I got a story. So my father, was a diehard Cowboys fan. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Pops. But he was a diehard Cowboys fan, and growing up in my house, when I was much younger, Cowboys always got the better of Washington. Mm-hmm. But when Gibbs came around and it flipped things, he wouldn't watch the games with me. He had to go in a different room, and I used to just talk trash to him and all that stuff. But he wouldn't do that. But I say all that because the story was, at least he told me, he said that the reason why you see so many Cowboy fans in the South, and especially when he was growing up, and he mentioned as far as the integration, like Washington was the last team to integrate. I don't know if people know that. George Preston Marshall was didn't want to have black players. And so it led a large portion of the black population, African-American population, to naturally say, well, we're going to be Cowboys fans. And he never forgave him for that until Doug Williams won the Super Bowl. So when Doug Williams won that Super Bowl, he still didn't like him, but it was still, that's what it was. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have our final segment here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. You coming back in with this deep cover, Alan? I heard that, fits the bill promo just now. And I tell you what, man, he's what's undercover because how can he create that kind of commercial saying that he likes analytics but it's ruined sports, because he's always using analytics.
He loves nerd numbers.
Yeah, so he can't say it's ruined it.
Nah, I think his context was correct. It makes you look at it solely by the numbers, and especially when you're talking about football and stuff, you can't just go by stats, right? You can't. You really should have balance, but if you're not going to have balance, in my opinion, I would do 70-30 film. I would not go by numbers as a totality.
It's got to be a gut feeling at times too.
Yeah. If you're not watching tape, man, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
and I'm not saying that like I'm some expert, but like you have a better understanding of things when you actually lay your eyes on it and don't just look at some statistic.
Exactly. So that's why I tell you young boys all the time, man, when you talk about that whole LeBron thing, that's perfect. You just
I'm Team Jordan. Team Jordan.
Okay.
So I was just saying, because it always goes back to LeBron.
well, I was just about to say, because these young folks pull them up. They pull them out there, all the time. And like, well, he did this and Jordan didn't do that. And he's got all these points more than Jordan and rebounds. And I'm like, and he played like 9 more years than Jordan did. And also Jordan didn't Jordan didn't just come straight out of high school. Yeah. He went to college. And he won a national championship with a clutch shot, by the way. Don't get along. Don't let me get
all that stuff stemmed from our Eli Manning Hall of Fame detour we took on, I think, Monday.
Yeah, do you think that he's?
I said if Kurt Warner got in, Eli should get in.
Eli got 2.
Yeah, I know,
and he got 2 against the GOAT. I mean, come on, man.
But I understand the argument against it, because the accolades, like Warner's got 2 MVPs, which says he was the best player in that time. He's got the 1 Super Bowl, and he for his short time frame, he was definitely elite.
But I gotta also throw this at you too. No offense to Kirk, because that's my dude too. Yeah. Kirk, when he was in New York, it was tough. I
also have to be careful too, because I'm a big Patrick Willis fan, and if I do the longevity argument, he didn't have the longest career either. But
he's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he was elite, and he was Hall of Fame. Yeah,
not even
the positions are different too.
Yeah.
But I don't want to base it solely on the fact he didn't play as many games or start as many games. But I just want, and I also clarified, and we both clarified, when it's time for Big Ben, we're not having this conversation. Big Ben's in. Like,
you think he's first ballot?
I don't know if he's first ballot, but he's definitely in.
He's in. Yeah. He's in because he won at an iconic place.
Yeah,
and they haven't done diddly since.
Yeah,
but he's not first ballot Hall of Fame.
I don't think he's first ballot either. But some of that also depends on who you're with, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who's in your class. The problem is people who are deserving aren't getting in.
Bill
and then
didn't get in first ballot.
And see, a person like that's going to end up being on someone else's ballot and knock someone else off who's deserving to be a first ballot.
And if Tom doesn't get in first ballot, I need names. Like, things are going to go, like, we're going to have to fight. I'm not going to lie.
So I think the league understands.
That would be an utter disgrace.
It would be tragic. I mean, it was bad enough to do that to Coach Belichick.
Yeah.
But to not have Tom Brady be
because
first
you don't
ballot,
like his girlfriend.
I mean, come on, man.
Who cares?
Come on, man. If they say he was cheating and all that stuff, listen.
Who cares?
We came from that era. They used to always say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's just what it was.
We went back and we broke it down. Even with the cheating accusations, you can erase the years that you thought he was cheating. He's still basically.
What did they do afterwards?
Yeah, he's still like 70% in 3 Super Bowls.
And then what did he do when he went to Tampa?
Yeah,
right off the cuff, they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean, I just think that you know what that is, man. I was hating right there, and I hate on
Patrick Mahomes, but I'm not going to keep him out the Hall of Fame when his career is done.
I mean, you hate on Patrick Mahomes because he's great.
Yeah.
That's most people who get hated on only get hated on because they're doing something that other people can't do.
Besides my random hate for Julius Randle and his Skechers.
I mean, you would take his salary.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
I take the Skechers too.
But Julius does come up missing sometimes. And he came up missing the last 2 games when Anthony Edwards was on one leg doing it all.
I'm trying to think of a random NFL player I just don't like for no reason. I don't know. It'll come up during the season.
You like Lamar, right?
Oh yeah, I love Lamar.
Okay.
He one of the dudes, man. He funny.
Okay. You like AJ Brown?
I have no choice because AJ squabble, man. AJ cool with me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he'll come up on you.
Yeah.
For real. I just can't see any player right now that I just dislike. Did you hate on Burfict back in the day?
Yes.
Okay. I figured that might be somebody
I'll be honest with you. I don't like no dirty player. I ain't never liked the dirty player.
He might roll up on you.
Hey, you can roll up. That's fine with me, man. If you dirty between the lines, that's one thing. But did Hans Ward catch him?
I'm not sure.
Somebody called him.
I remember
somebody got him back.
I kind of feel like he started the process with Antonio Brown.
He was after Hans Ward. Yeah. I feel like somebody got him back though, because He's a dirty.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he's a dirty player, man.
I think he got hurt when that happened.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put that player out there, but yeah, I know he had a lot of hate.
I don't like dirty players.
Football's different though.
Even in basketball.
But football's totally different from basketball in the sense that you can hate basketball players because you physically can see some things that like flopping. I mean, Harden flops all the time. I'm not saying I hate him. I'm just saying they give you reasons and you can see it. But football is so muddled at times on the field that you can't see,
that's true,
the stuff that's going on.
Although, having watched the trenches, if I wasn't a huge Jalen Carter fan, I would dislike him too.
I mean,
I'm biased. I know. I'm biased on Jalen Carter, man.
He spit on Dak Prescott. I was more upset with Dak Prescott than I was Jalen Carter, though. You know why? Because Dak let him spit on him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that.
His O-line
we
too,
getting
man.
handcuffed that day. If you spit on me, I'm getting handcuffed.
I'm still confused, man. Like, I just remember, this is even back in the day, but before Trent Williams, we had Joe Staley. And if you touch Colin Kaepernick, Staley was on you. Matter of fact, one of his infamous scuffles occurred on the Packers sideline because I think Clay Matthews did like a little cheap shot on Colin Kaepernick.
Absolutely.
I fully expect my offensive line to treat their quarterback like that. If he got spit on, where's the hesitation? Everybody should be ejected.
I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. When you have a franchise quarterback and people perceive something as dirty towards them, all you got to do is go back to Kansas City. When Patrick Mahomes got hurt, I don't think anyone thought that was a dirty hit.
No, that wasn't.
And that's why no one got him. But if it was a cheap shot that got him hurt, you would have seen a lot of guys.
Hats, flags, shoes, whistles.
We don't want to condone violence on the show.
We're not condoning violence. We condone it. We condone it protecting our players.
We condoning grown man. That's what we're condoning.
Try
here.
with Brock Purdy. Watch with Trent do.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna tell you that right now.
And it wouldn't just be on the field either. Let me just tell you.
Mess around and let Laramie get loose. People be sleeping on him too.
And it would not be on the field. Let me just tell you that too.
He's a nice guy, but you're gonna respect him and his quarterback. That's for sure.
That's the way it is. You're getting paid to protect them at all times. Even when they go to the grocery store, if they slip on the aisle, you're getting some milk, you're supposed to get the store in trouble.
Yeah.
So, folks, appreciate you guys joining me today. Remember, I'll be back here Thursday, same time, same place, 3 to 4. And then remember, coming up next Tuesday, we've got a special announcement right here on the Lake Lewis Jr. Show.